So, I just wanted to give a little history about this picture. So, I'm going to let you be the judge. Um, a friend of Johnny and mine, when we were going through so much, gave us this photograph, which she had kept over 30 years. She doesn't want me to reveal her name. And, well, okay, so let me show it a little better. It's not really showing up as good. Anyway, let me tell you the story about this alleged angel. So my friend, someone, I can't remember exactly who the person was related to her or how she knew this person, but this photograph was taken in a plane when a lady was scared. The plane kept dropping. It was obviously an old-fashioned camera. I mean, this is like, old school. Like, I can't explain it, but it it's old school photograph. Anyway, she was so scared, and the plane kept dropping, and she truly thought it was the end of the, end of the, well, she really believed she was going to die. And she saw something strange in the clouds, and in the midst of the madness and chaos, she took a picture. Well, the photographer, or the store that processed the picture, called her and said, "Ma'am, what were you taking a picture of? Because it turned out a little strange." And she said, "Well, I just saw some pretty clouds and something looked really different, and I just snapshot the picture." Well, clouds to me are amazing. I'll be honest. I've taken pictures that I thought looked like angels, but this one is it's a little hardcore. I mean, if you look, it definitely looks like a robe, right? It looks like there's a belt or something like a robe. And you see a little bit of a mouth, and the face is glowing, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess if you stare at it long enough. Now, it looks a lot better, actually, and, I mean, it's not really photographing very well. But, so, Johnny keeps this picture with him all the time. And, he keeps it in this Bible. And, oh my goodness, the other day I moved it, and he threw a fit. He's like, "Don't touch that angel." I was like, my God. I mean, Johnny, we don't really know if that's an angel, but, I mean, I'll give it to you. It really does look like hands and a robe and a belt, and, I get it. But the other day we were walking. Okay, so I'm going to tell you two really weird... Okay, Johnny and I keep having these really weird things happen to us, like the lady giving us this picture. I mean, she only knew us like 6 weeks, and she gave it to us as a guardian angel, etc., but the other day, and look, I have no reason to lie about this. It's still kind of freaking me out. The other day, Johnny and I were walking. It was a pretty night, and we were walking to the store, and we started fighting about something stupid. The stalkers, these horrible cyber bullies that we're dealing with that are photoshopping our pictures and disclosing our location everywhere we go, and really cruel, just bully stuff that no one should get away with. There's nothing, I think bullies are just like disgusting human beings, actually. My dad wrote a song called Plain Jane back in, I think it was 1966 or something. It was definitely, I'm pretty sure it was in the late 60s or something. And it's about a girl who commits suicide due to a prank. She was asked to the prom as a very plain girl who never had any attention by a popular boy, and the whole school was laughing, and she ends up taking her life. Well, anyway, if you're curious to hear it, I love the song. It's called Plain Jane, B.J. Thomas. And as many of you know, my dad wrote a lot of his hits. But anyway, early hits. So we're walking, and I've asked all the neighbors, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't know. We've never seen anything like that." And it was a little bit late, and there weren't any people around. And I looked up because it was really pretty. The sky was clear, and it was nighttime, lots of stars. and I saw like the weirdest, God, I promise you, it was going sideways. Now, okay, I thought it was oh, Johnny, I thought it was a shooting star, but the thing is, shooting stars don't go sideways, do they? I mean, it was like hardcore sideways. Not even a little bit of an angle, like just sideways as could be. And it was really a very bright light, and it had like these, I don't even know how to describe it, like ribbons of moonlight almost, like I don't even know. And I watched it, and it was so straight arrow, like it wasn't even. And Johnny's just yelling about how upset he is about the stalking and all the negative. And I kept saying, "Look up, look up, look up," and he's just like on a mission. He's so angry that these people disclosed our address, that will not leave us alone. We've had to move now like 6 times over it or something. And he missed it, Sadly, he missed it. Now, it was so weird because I stood out in the middle of the street. There were no cars, and I looked for it everywhere, and it looked like it went in these trees, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I'll have to wonder the rest of my life what that was. I mean, look, I've seen some weird things. I'm obviously not like, I've been around. I've been all over Europe. I've traveled many, many places. I haven't been all over Europe. That was a grandiose statement there. But I mean, I've been to a lot of really cool places, and I've seen the most beautiful things. But there's a couple things that's kind of cool that I want to tell you about. That there's like sort of magical in the midst of madness and sadness, and that light was just amazing. I'll never know what it was. I'll never know. I mean, it definitely wasn't aliens. I don't know. Who knows, right? But okay, I was kidding. Um, okay, so the other thing that, just sticks really hard in my mind is I was literally, I mean, after losing everything and making a decision to go into hiding for years, due to injustices, mainly CPS fraud, and then it escalated to many retaliations. And I remember being really scared. I was in my, well, now stolen, well, I would say stolen on fraud by the police department in Lake Jackson. But anyway, I was in my convertible Mini Cooper that my daughter loved so much, custom built convertible. And it was really another really bizarre night. I mean, I was on the beach. I didn't want to get a hotel because I was wasting so much money, and it was a pretty night. I was like, what the heck? And so I take the top down, and, sometimes I can be a little too fearless, and I get that. I mean, because I'm a female, and there comes a point where you don't take your top down, in your car on the beach. But if you knew the area I was in, there's basically no crime. I mean, it's rare, but I don't want to talk about where I was. And there were families camping out and everything, down to, I believe, like if I was facing the ocean, they were to the left. And that was kind of like the area you're supposed to go if you chill out and, decide that you're going to spend the night. Well, okay, so then I'm staring at the ocean, and now it's a really odd hour. Obviously, everyone's sleeping, all the beach houses, all the lights are off. And I mean, I'm so mad that my phone died. I mean, if all the times my phone could die, this is one of the most haunting, realities, because I would love to show the video. It would have just knocked your socks off. I mean, it was almost as amazing as this so-called picture of an angel. But um, I looked, and I don't know if you saw the movie Gladiator, but it was like happening, and I couldn't believe it. So the ocean was glowing. The waves were like a silvery, almost bright, I don't know, iridescent blue. And it was very glittery. And, oh, I left out the major part. So this a soldier that had been in Afghanistan, very handsome young man, but it wasn't like a creepy thing. I mean, it wasn't like he was flirting and I wasn't flirting with him. I mean, heck, I was probably, I don't know, 30 years older than him. Who knows? I don't know. But I don't know, maybe not that much. But, he just happened to say, hey, do you want to build a bonfire? I left out this whole important part, I'm sorry. And while we were, he was going to cook, or was it cooking something, s'mores or something? I don't know, something that I'm not used to doing. But, this was kind of like out in the, you could say sort of country mentality people who enjoy simplicity a little more than maybe some city people. But anyway, he was from a place that none of you would probably ever have heard of, and it's not a place with a high population. And we both experienced it together. And the funny thing is he was home on leave, and he was going to leave to go back. I could have sworn it was Afghanistan, but very, just really nice guy. And he showed me all his proof, his ID, because of course I asked, because I'm just like that. And so what it was is, what is it called? Phosphorescites. It's when, the algae, whatever, I guess it's dying, which is kind of depressing. But before it dies, it glows, and it's like the most amazing thing, I think, for sure the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I still think about it today, and I'm so mad I didn't get any proof of it. And he, went back, and we didn't exchange numbers. It was just one of those surreal moments. He was dealing with some hardcore depression and wanted to chill out, over, being in the service. It wasn't really working out for him. He wasn't happy. And he was pretty traumatized, and I was traumatized, battling my own war, very personal war at that. And it was just the weirdest thing, and it didn't last long. I mean, I don't know, it seemed like forever. Like, we were two kids playing, splashing each other, and I mean, it's the weirdest thing. You put your hand in it, and your hand, like, glistens, and it's all, like, diamonds on you, and I mean, it was just the most amazing thing. I just hate that no one could have filmed it, but we were just playing around, and we were putting our, like, okay, so we were walking in the water, and when you put your footprint, it's no joke. I'm sure none of you have seen this, because I think it's actually pretty rare. But, I mean, your footprint was like diamonds in the sand. So, I mean, here we were like two kids laughing, and we were, really on hard times, both of us. And, the next day it was so weird. I asked neighbors, there was like a cooked shrimp out thing or something. And I said, God, did y'all see last night? And it was like the weirdest thing. Kind of like that light I'm telling you about. Nobody saw it. Of course they heard, like on the news or whatever it was. But they're like, gosh, I can't believe we've been out here 30 years or 40 years and we've never seen anything like that. And apparently it only happened a couple of times in, like, I don't know, 40, 50 years. And like, and here you are, an outsider. You come out of nowhere and you see it. Little did they know why I was in hiding. I don't know how I pulled that off. I mean, like, what, 3.5, 4 years I pulled it off in that one location. And, the irony is I had a cop that watched my back that completely knew my story and who I was. So not all cops that deal with me are corrupt. But, oh, well, like 85%. But other than that, there's been some good ones. But even the good ones were afraid to protect me. But he did it anyway. And he's no longer, I tried to thank him not too long ago, and he's not even, they said he wasn't even in America anymore. I was like, gosh, where is he really? Because a lot of bad things happen to people that try to help me, but I mean, whatever. But, oh man, so I've been really sick. I mean, really, really sick. I kept pushing myself. I've had like this really bad lingering cold for like 6 days, and I keep saying this too shall pass, and I was hoping New Year's Eve I'd be better. So my friends show up today, and you could say my boss. I mean, I don't really think of him as my boss, but okay, boss slash friend, whatever. And another friend of mine from the past, and they brought some surprise goodies for Christmas, but I mean, I felt so bad. I couldn't even join them. You know what I mean? Like, I was that sick. And I felt like I was being rude, but I was like, it takes a lot to keep me in bed. I'm a pretty hyper person. I get up really early in the morning. And so Johnny and them kind of chilled and cooked out and listened to music, and I kind of just had to stay in bed. And then because I slept too much today, now I'm kind of like, now I'm up at this odd hour. But 'tis the season, right? I mean, it's kind of funny because when people say, oh, people have insomnia, oh, you're crazy. No, heartache causes insomnia. It doesn't necessarily mean you're crazy. I'm always amazed of kind of like the stupidity of the shallowness of so many people in this world that choose to be ignorant. If you're ignorant, not by choice, then my heart goes out to you because that is not your fault. And I'm talking about people that have brain damage, like Johnny suffers from brain damage from, swelling of his brain and brain surgery. But I would never say, like, oh, you can't read quicker than you do or something like that. But there's too many people that they choose ignorance. And that really ticks me off. Because you have people like targeted individuals that are really true, not crazy, maybe driven to insanity justifiably, but saw the game. In my case, the reason they robbed me so much and had me go homeless off and on so many times was to make me look like I was completely, off my rocker. And I knew what they were doing, and I couldn't believe that a lot of you fell into it. It seemed, I could be wrong, but it seemed like quite a few people fell into it. But then maybe not, because then again, my evidence videos had far, 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 like way, 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 way more likes than dislikes. So I don't know. But I think there's something wrong with the world when people get immune to suffering. And that's what's going on in our world today. Everyone's just kind of lingering, kind of going by. Time just passes by and they're just kind of like robots. And maybe it's not our fault. I mean, after all, when you think about it, from the time we were born, anyone that's going to sing a song such as Rockabye Baby and the little whatever falls out the tree or whatever, and then what is that, rocking, and then the baby, basically the baby's dying, or Humpty Dumpty, he's falling to pieces. Like, when you think about our world, it's pretty whacked out. Come on, you're a little baby and you're sung these songs that are actually, if you really are analytical like me, they scared the hell out of me. So there we go. What's wrong with, okay, from the time we're born, we're brainwashed, we're listening to negative, everything. Even cartoons today are horrific. At least I watch like Bugs Bunny, but I always hated, what was it? The one with the kite. What was that? Roadrunner. Oh my gosh, was that dark? Even Tom and Jerry to me was dark, but I guess I was a weird kid because I didn't like to watch anything suffer. I don't even care if it was a cartoon, But our brains are just embedded with negativity and evil from pretty much the time we're born, and then we're wondering, well, why can we watch people suffer and not do anything? America with so much, really. We have a way to get the homeless helped if they really want help, if they truly are people just down their luck like I had been, nothing like drug use or not that I'm saying, even if you're on drugs, that's still, a disease or alcoholism, and I don't think you need to be sleeping on Christmas on the streets. It's hard enough, dealing with things like that, but luckily that was never my problem. Circumstances was my problem. When I'm sitting there laying, on the ground with other people at the time, victims of Harvey, and I'm going, okay, what is wrong with this picture? Because I know, personally, even if I had $5 to my name, which I proved in live videos when Johnny and I were helping all the homeless, when we were practically homeless ourselves from being robbed so many times, and we still shared our food, we still shared our pizza or a Subway sandwich or whatever. And I'm proud to know that I'm that kind of person. And even if my last breath was tonight, I'm pretty sure that God knows that I'm someone who gives even when I don't have much to give. But that is not the mentality of most people today. And let me tell you, I'm not trying to be like, oh, Amy's so great, but I am keeping it real. And since I know ever since I was in high school that I was known for helping people in need in Houston, oh my God, just recently filming this show to help the homeless veterans, and it's going to be, I think, aired in March. And yes, you're going to see me on the show. I'm the one interviewing the homeless veterans, and I guess it's one season. I don't know how it's working, and I don't know if I'm going to continue because of the stalking that kind of ruined my day at work and the harassment there live, caught, by everyone there. But but I know this, and my boss witnessed it. At least 3 or 4 homeless people said, hey, I remember you. You're the one that fed us, or you're the one that gave us blankets, or you're the one that helped us get off the street. I was like, told you, boss. I wasn't kidding. I'm known for helping the homeless, and isn't it ironic that I went homeless after having it all? The so-called American dream, that's nothing but an elusive notion to basically, trick us into this fantasy world that, oh, if you have it all, you're going to be cool and great, and everyone's going to love you, when in reality, no one really loves you because when I lost everything, everyone pretty much vanished because after a while, I was the one that usually picked up the tab everywhere I went. And I didn't even realize I was buying my friends. At least today I know that, at one point I had too much money that I, probably didn't even really deserve that much money. I mean, I worked not that hard and just managed to make a lot of money not working hard because I was really good at something that it's America for you. I mean, beauty pays, right? I mean, I did makeovers and I had days where I made $1,000 doing a wedding in a matter of a couple of hours. And here I was married to, a lawyer who's like, what the heck? You're sometimes making more money than me. Well, that's life. That's America for you. I mean, they said that, it doesn't matter if a woman can't eat, she'll always find a way to get that lipstick. Well, I learned a lot about, humanity really because I would see people suffering outside the Galleria in Houston and homeless, and everyone was more concerned about making sure they had a lipstick or, I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying, but sometimes I get on my soapbox and I can come across the wrong way and maybe not the most likable person in the world, but I never said I was trying to be popular. I'm just trying to be righteous. There is a difference. And sometimes doing the right thing will make you unpopular because we live in a world where there's a bunch of puppets on the string that say, hey, our government's not corrupt. Hey, CPS only does good. Hey, if you lose your children to CPS, you are a serial killer or a rapist or a major crackhead. And yeah, I'm being sarcastic, but not really. And it's just so funny when you look at cases like mine where someone who'd never been to jail, who pretty much had a squeaky clean record and had a beautiful home and, money-wise was doing really well, and then had a wonderful ex-husband who was helping probably more than most, I don't know, but he certainly was paying it back forward for all the help I gave him. And, ironically, my daughter wasn't his, but he did everything for us. And so it was cool because I didn't want to work till she was 2. That was my rule, till she could speak and defend herself if there were any creepy babysitters or whatever. And he was like, look, I'll go ahead and give you X amount of money a month. And then right when everything was going perfect in our life and I was bringing her up to the modeling agency where I was working and they wanted to have her do some things as well, she was taken, just poof, just like that, blink of an eye. And here I am, like, next thing I know, living in my car. Next thing I know, off and on, not necessarily sleeping on the street, but going, the couch to couch, friend to friend thing. And then the more bad things that happened to me, people were like, well, now I'm scared they're going to happen to me. And they weren't crazy because it actually really was true. So welcome to the world of a lawless system, and the corruption runs deep. And it is everywhere. You can't escape it. And the only time I ever had true peace, but not really because I had to be isolated, is when I went into hiding. And when I say hiding, I don't mean like now, because this isn't hiding. People, the stalkers, know my exact address. The police already told me so. But, it's more than that. I mean, when I literally didn't give people my name, didn't date, didn't have friends, lonely, but nothing bad happened to me. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Wasn't robbed once, wasn't sexually assaulted, wasn't choked, wasn't, hit by cops, nothing. And it's just like funny because people are still like, oh, it's in your head. Well, if it's in my head, how come I had like a 4.5 year, maybe 5 year period where I didn't have things happen? And then why, when I went back into civilization, had an address, I get illegally arrested by 2 cops pretty quickly, win both cases? I mean, come on. There are writings on the wall, don't you agree? Anyway, so here I am, if you can't have Christmas, if you can't be, if you can't really have it all, then you got to watch things like Ion and, the fantasy world of the perfect Christmas. So this is where my world's been today, and it's really funny because it's all like these off the wall. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're entertaining. But the last one I saw, this lady on Hard Times, and it was a sad story, but she didn't know she falls in love with a real prince. And then he takes her home and takes care of her, and I'm going, come on, a lot of us deserve that prince, right? But, only in the movies. So these holiday movies are kind of like, okay, let me live vicariously through TV because I certainly don't have these Hallmark endings, but hopefully someday. It's bad enough I haven't had a Christmas since like 2008, since my daughter was taken. And then I finally thought, this is my first Christmas with, Johnny White. And it didn't really work out because he just got out of the hospital and I feel horrible. I just physically, just horrible cold and run down and no strength. And I'm going, okay, this might not be our best Christmas, but hey, we still have faith. We still believe. At least we have each other. There's some people that are completely alone. And that, my heart really goes out to you because I've been there actually. Imagine being completely alone and in isolation just because you fear for your life because you're being targeted. And you can't even tell people your name, and it's like you're going to a bar where if you buy one drink, and when I say drink, it could be Coke, iced tea. I mean, families go. It's like a daytime. I don't even know if I said it right. It's a restaurant bar kind of thing. But if you went and bought anything, you got an entire feast of holiday food. Oh yeah, so I remember doing Thanksgiving there and Christmas there, and going, wow, at least it was really good. But, you know, I don't know. That's when you realize how bad it is. So at least, you know, I don't think there's anything worse than just sitting there hiding in danger with no one around you and you can't even call anyone because you have to be truly like considered missing, which if you Google me, you'll see I'm not kidding, or YouTube me. I mean, people were looking for me and it was horrible because if you call anyone, they're tracked, and I was doing everything not to get tracked because after all, social media is a joke. If you knew how many times I get hacked into, people keep changing my settings and stealing my evidence and stealing everything and putting it on Google and YouTube without my permission. Well, so here's the house that I guess I wish I was in right now. Instead of this, ooh, there's a tree I wish I had. Come on, can we at least laugh a little? I mean, if I didn't have a sense of humor, I don't know. I think I'm the luckiest unlucky girl in the world. It's funny because people used to tell me that my whole life. And I never understood it because it's such a weird thing to say. It contradicts everything I, think is true. But actually, there's some truth to it because Johnny, I know, would take a bullet for me. I just know it. And he would do anything in his power to protect me and loves me like probably no other, but I don't know. I think my ex-husband loved me a lot, but honestly, that deep true love where your baggage doesn't scare someone away and then they say, well, hey, let's just put all our stuff in the same baggage and, get rolling together. That's pretty beautiful. And it's rough. I mean, romance, come on now. I mean, we're always in survival mode. I mean, I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. I can't remember the last time we had a nice romantic dinner. I don't know, 6.5 months ago. And then every time we try to go out, our pictures are being taken or we're being stalked and harassed. So, yeah, it's not real easy to. I mean, we were trying to have a nice dinner in a Mexican restaurant. I got assaulted live, and Johnny's like, gosh, that's the first time I didn't walk you to the restroom and something happened to you. He tried to chase the guy out and he got away. Oh, gosh. But, yeah, so we kind of lay low. I mean, it's kind of lonely, but, I have Houston, ironically, our German Shepherd that was given to us as a gift. The name came with the dog, and I was like, are you kidding? I'm suing Houston. That's a little odd. Like, why don't you just slap me in my face with a dark reality every day? I mean, literally, I'm suing in Houston in federal court, pro se, and I'm suing some big wigs, and it's really scary. And, of course, the retaliations got far worse, so I haven't paid my filing fee to continue because I left it with the judges. Yeah, I'm worried I'm going to basically die over this lawsuit. All I have to do is pay $400 and the ball's rolling again, but I got to think it out. I thought if I didn't do it, they'd leave me alone, but they're not. So, I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to let you go. Hold on a minute. Mystery. Can you see? I don't think you can see him. That is one spoiled dog. So he has his own bedroom, but He's like, he don't play around. Our little German Shepherd's like, I am staying next to y'all, and nobody's gonna mess with you. So, all right. So it's Houston, the German Shepherd, Johnny, and I for Christmas. And the dog's the only thing that has a gift. uh, no, I wish I could say I'm kidding, but I'm not. I bought my daughter some really nice gifts, and then we bought Houston a gift, and now we're like, oops, we can't get each other a gift. But you know what? We have the gift that keeps giving, right? Love, hope, faith, peace. I hope someday. But sometimes we have peace together, but rarely, really. But we will. Something tells me you will. So what do you think of this picture? I don't think anyone put anything down. I mean, what do you think? It's not fake, I promise you. Is that just like, it's like weird the way the cloud just kind of did that, like an angel cloud with a robe and hands, and, it sure does look like an angel, but did they stop the plane from crashing? Like, come on. I have really cool angelic like stories. So does Johnny, and there's a weird spirituality between us that I don't really ever talk about. But a lot of like bad things have happened to us that somehow we never end up like dead, and it's actually quite amazing. And he's far more spiritual than me. Like, it's a little over the top, to me. I mean, praying before you eat every time, and he prays like it's so long that my food gets cold, and I'm like, come on, Johnny, let's think of a prayer that's a little shorter because I like my food warm, please. And then here he is with his Bible open every night. And, ooh, if I close it, he'll get mad. He likes it open with the angel of God. And he's so OCD about it. Wait, why'd you touch the Bible? What were you doing? I was cleaning, honey. Okay, well, leave it open. Don't move it. So there, I don't want him to know, so let me put it back exactly the way it was. Okay, I hope that's the way it was. All right, well, sorry this isn't more about, well, I think it is about Christmas because it's about miracles.